The carbon crisis, retrofit versus new. What is retrofit? Retrofitting is the inclusion of new technologies into pre-existing structures. It is a reconstruction process that benefits the building and the environment. One aspect of retrofit is thermal insulation combined with the upgrading of heating and cooling systems. This allows for the reform from burning fossil fuels to using a low carbon source for a building's energy demands. Another example of retrofit is the installation of solar PV panels that help supply renewable energy. Retrofitting can also use prefabricated designs and reuse materials for modifying an existing structure. Changing our lighting sources to LED bulbs is an example of retrofitting that we all use today. Why retrofit? 80% of today's buildings will still be in use in 2050, and 75% of these structures are energy inefficient. 50% of energy consumed in the US in 2015 was spent from existing buildings. 10% of the energy was from new construction. The global building sector is responsible for 30% of our world's carbon emissions. Fortunately, retrofitted buildings produce 50 to 75% less embodied carbon compared to new construction. There are immediate carbon saving benefits, but often financial and architectural drawbacks. Understanding embodied carbon. All constructions or retrofits emit what is called embodied carbon. Embodied carbon are emissions from the production, travel, installing, and removal of a building's materials. This is in contrast to operational carbon, which are emissions due to a structure's energy use. You can see the difference here in this diagram. The Gemini house retrofit. This is an example of an ongoing prototype low-energy retrofit by ERA Architects in Toronto. ERA built a house within a house to minimize the amount of space heated and energy consumed on a daily basis. This project incorporated low-intensity mechanical systems based on passive house principles. The result was that energy use was reduced by over 90%. Here is a diagram that shows how heat was recirculated and recycled within the project. Is it better to build new? Why new? New buildings can be built to be required eco-friendly building codes and have energy efficiency built directly into them. New construction can initially be more cost efficient. New construction can address limitations of space and design. New buildings are a means to accommodate a growing population. New buildings help to replace an aging urban infrastructure. What is the conclusion of retrofit versus new? Retrofitting can be expensive and have many cost variables depending on the amount of work that is required. New builds may be efficient, but the majority of carbon emissions from them are not operational energy costs, but from the embodied carbon of construction. It takes decades to recover from this carbon expenditure, and we need action now. With 80% of the existing buildings still in use in 2050, there's a definite need for retrofitting to be part of the carbon footprint solution.